Hey Ukramedia family, Sergey Praknevsky here, and today I want to try something different. I know a lot of you are used to me creating something that's quick and to the point, something very, something that doesn't waste a lot of your time, and I love those as much as you do. However, they do take more time than I want. And because of that, it kind of holds me back and I don't release tutorials as often as I'd like. And, the whole editing and post-production, there's something about when you record things in the post-production rather than live, that in the post-production you have this thing in the back of your mind like, hey, if I mess up, I can stop and re-record. And that plan B for me personally becomes plan A almost every single time. And I find myself messing up on little things and just re-recording over and over again. And then it just becomes very frustrating and not a very enjoyable process for sure. So I want to try something that's more raw, and let's give this a try. Let me know what you guys think in the comment below, and I trust you will not hold back with your feedback for sure. Just be kind. And by the way, if you don't like the shirts that I wear, feel free to send me one. You'll see the PO box address in the description of this video. The size is medium, and please nothing political or provocative, and I might even give you a credit. All right, so let me show you what I'm going to create here. So I'm going to create this lower third right here. As you can see, it slides in, slides out. It kind of looks complicated, but it's not, and you'll see exactly why. And by the way, if you've seen my live stream a couple days ago, you have already seen me create something like this. In fact, in the live stream, I showed you how to create it, 5 of them, and this is only one for this tutorial. So if you want to check out the live stream, the link to it is going to be in the description of this video. So check it out. All right, so let's start fresh. You can press Control N on your keyboard or this icon in here to create a new composition. 1920, 1080, 2997, 20 seconds. That's what I'm going to have here. And I'm going to label this lower third, and let's do tutorial. Okay, and I'll place it in the comps folder here. Okay, and now I'm going to start fresh. And by the way, I do want to throw in a little disclaimer here. For this particular tutorial, I will use a script that I wrote with the help of my friend Tim Thiessen. However, this script is not free. Boo! I know. I'm sorry about that. But if you want to support us, you can purchase it. But if you don't want to get the script, I'm going to show you like a quick alternative for it. So it's going to be quick, but you can figure it out. It will require some expressions. And I know I think I've annoyed a lot of you guys with expressions. So I promise you, this is the only part where I'm going to be doing expressions. And outside of this, it's going to be all keyframes. So we all know shape layers. I use them all the time. And shape layers are a lot of times more, I don't know, they're awesome, but there's some restrictions. So if you click on this, double click here, here's a shape layer. You can go and play around with the size. And the problem that I always had is that it extrudes from the center, right? And that can be a bit problematic. And sometimes I want things to extrude from the left side, right side, from this corner, that corner. So you get the idea, but obviously, even like getting to the size takes some steps, right? You would have to go here and, but with Smart Rect, it's a lot easier. You just really, like, here it is. You click on it, it creates the shape here, and you can, adjust it like that and have roundness, all of this. And you can quickly say, if I want to extrude from that corner, I would say top left or right, I'm sorry. And then you can extrude it like that. So it gives you definitely more options. And if you want something like this in your own without using the script, all you have to do is just, you can select this and just draw a shape if you want, and then go to rectangle path, and you do have to do some expressions. So I'm going to alt click on this position here, and I'm going to create some variables in here. So I'm going to say X, you're going to be, and I'll point to this value right here, and then Y, you're going to be that value right here. And then I'll define it in here in the square brackets, X, Y. So essentially what I've done, I told this X to be that and that to be that. So if I move on this, you can see it's kind of working, but not really. But all you have to do is you can do it in here or in here. You can just say that X value, let's divide it by 2 and get the half of it. And then Y value, let's divide it by 2. And so now you can see that it's extruding the way you want it. So it's going downwards and to the right. If you want to reverse, let's say if you want to go to the left instead of right, you would just say divide by -2. And now it's going to go to the left. So if you want to go instead of, right now it's going downwards. If you wanted to go upwards, you would just say divide by -2. And then you're going in the opposite direction. So essentially that's a quick fix, for SmartRect. So if you don't want to purchase the script, you can take this route and it will get you there. However, with SmartRect, you can just click it, and you have all these options on the fly and you can quickly change things around. So it does take time to set up the other process, but this thing is awesome. Now, the other thing I like about SmartRect is that, and by the way, my friend Tim Thiessen was the guy that helped me develop this thing. And Thiessen is just such an awesome dude, very knowledgeable. I love that guy. And let me show you the new feature that I've added to this. So I'm going to create a new text, type something like ukramedia.com, and let's zoom in. And I'm going to change the color of it to white. So the cool thing about it, once you center the anchor points of this text, and to do that, just select it, do Control-Alt-Home on your keyboard. If you don't have the home button, just select your text, press Control, and then double-click on this anchor point tool. And then it's going to center it for you. So once you've centered it, all you have to do is just press this, and it's going to create a shape based on your selection. So it doesn't have to be just a text. It can be a solid shape, vector file, MOV file, composition. The only thing that doesn't support things like lights and camera, but you don't need it for that anyway. So now you have something to work with here. You can still do the roundness. So that's the feature that I really love, and I just recently added it. And by the way, if you purchased SmartRect in the past, you can just go back to ukramedia.com and download it. So the cool thing about it, again, you can make it 3D, move it around, and it will still work. You can even duplicate this, parent it to this layer, move it around, scale it, adjust other things, whatever. And if you select it, it will still work. So SmartRect is super awesome. I highly recommend that you get it if you want to support us and also just get things done quicker. If you use shape layers like me, I use it all the time. So enough of the plug. And by the way, expressions, if you want to learn more about expressions, you should take our course on expressions at ukramedia.com/expressions. And SmartRect, you can get it at ukramedia.com/SmartRect. Everything is in the bottom of this video in the description. So let's start fresh here. Let's create a lower third. So I'm going to adjust things in here. So I'm going to create a new text. You can press Control-T or click on this icon here. So I'm going to type ukramedia.com, and then I'm going to center the pivot point, Control-Alt-Home. Let's press on this SmartRect button and then adjust the size of it. Let's do 700 by 110. So we have a great start. Now, the only problem that I have right now, it's extruding from the center, and I wanted to extrude from this side. So I can say center left. Okay. Now the other problem is that it shifted our whole shape to the right, and you can just adjust this, Control-Alt-Home to center the pivot point. And even though the pivot point isn't here, it will still extrude from the left. All right. So next, what you do once you have your center, anchor point centered, hold down Shift and then parent pick whip to your text, and it will drop your shape layer right over the top of your text layer, and you can. It usually parents it, but you can unparent this because I don't want it to be parented. So that's a good start. Now we can animate things. So I'm going to select the shape layer, press E to reveal my SmartRect options. And in here, I'm going to play with this X size property. So I'm going to select it, hit S twice to solo it. And now I'm going to set some keyframes. So I'm going to set one here, press down Shift on my keyboard and page down 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And that's to go down 30 frames in my, down to the right of my timeline. I'm going to select or click on this icon or button again to create another keyframe. And now we have 2 keyframes. They're kind of useless right now because obviously they're not doing anything. They're identical. So I'm going to take this keyframe and I'll take it down to 0. So now it's going to do this. So we're almost there. I'm going to do some easing. I'm going to select this one, Control-Shift-F9 to make it easy ease out, and select that one, Shift-F9 to make it easy ease in. And then I'm going to select this again, Control-K to go to the keyframe velocity, and I'm going to take it up to 80% influence. And by the way, I know I'm using Control-Shift-K for keyframe velocity, but you can also go to the graph editor, and in here, the influence is left and right. So right now it's set at 80. But by the way, if you're not seeing this, make sure Edit Speed Graph is checked. Okay, now the other thing, if you want to adjust speed, you want to go up and down. Okay, so influence is left and right, and up and down is speed. And I don't always use the graph editor for that because it's so much quicker to do it with this shortcut. So just select this, Control-Shift-K to bring up the keyframe velocity window, and you can easily adjust it in here. So left and right is the influence. So I'm going to set it to 45, and then speed up and down, right? That one, I'm going to set it to 220. So now if I preview this, it works quite well for me. So that's exactly what I want. And let's So we have 2 established. So I'm going to select these keyframes and do Control C to copy them, Control V to paste. And right now it's doing the exact same thing. It comes in. So I want to reverse these or flip those keyframes. And to do that, I'm going to right click and go to Keyframe Assistant and Time Reverse Keyframes. So it basically flips it for you. And now when you preview this, you can see it comes in and then it comes out. Now, what I like to do with lower thirds, when it animates in, I want it to have like normal speed. But when it animates out, I want it to be much faster, or not much faster, but a lot faster than that. So what I'm going to go to this keyframe here and snap it, shift snap it to that keyframe, and then press down shift and then page down twice, 1, 2. So I'm going forward 20 frames, and I'll select this keyframe, shift snap it to my time indicator. So now when I preview this, it's giving me exactly what I want. So really, this is like the hardest part of this lower third, because once you've established the animation, after that, it's more just playing with keyframes, offsetting things and duplicating things. So let's keep going with this. I'm going to select this and duplicate it, Control D, and press U to see all of my keyframes. And in here, I'm going to offset these. Obviously, they're identical. But before I do that, actually, let me change the color of the bottom shape layer, this one right here. So I'm going to go back to this final composition, and I want it to be this blue one. So that's the blue one I want. Click on this fill button right there, and then copy, Control C, this value right here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to this tutorial comp and select this bottom shape. Click on this again, Control V to paste. All right, I think you're following along. Right now you don't see it, but it is there because those are identical. So I'm going to offset these keyframes. I'm going to go to the very first keyframe, page down 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and shift snap this keyframe, go back to this one, and then page up 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then snap that one. So now if I preview this, you can see that it looks a lot better. So we're almost there. I'm going to actually copy this orange. So that one, do the same kind of thing again, Control C to copy it, and then select this, Control V to paste. So you can see they're slightly off. So now it looks much better. And I'm going to select this shape, this orange shape, Control D to duplicate it. Press U on your keyboard to see your keyframes. And I'll do the same thing here, page down 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, I apologize if I'm going really slow here. I mean, really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on page down, or page up, I'm sorry. So now if I preview this, obviously you can see that we're not seeing the other orange one because it's the same color as that one. So we're going to change the color of it to white. So let's see this. It's working well, but the only problem that I have now, my text is white. So we have to change the color of our text. I'm going to select it, go to character, and let's take that down to black, but not all the way black. Let's keep it about here. It's a bit easy on your eyes. When it's just solid black, it just doesn't feel the color fill that I have going. It's very kind of soft colors. So something like that might work. Okay. All right, so we're almost there. Now, the most important part I feel with like lower thirds is the way text comes in. Because right now, even though it's coming in, it's looking great, but I think the text is what sells it, because it kind of, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make it drift, right? It's going to come in, it's going to slow drift there. So I'm going to select this text, hit P to reveal the position property of my text, and I'm going to set a keyframe here, and then also there, and I'll do the whole easing. So Control Shift F9, select that one, Control or Shift F9 to make it easy ease in, and then let's play with keyframe velocity, Control Shift K. Let's take it up to 100 and select this one, do Control Shift K again, and we'll take it up to 45 and then 220. So I do want to have some speed going in the beginning. And then I'll place this one with that keyframe, and then I'll go to, Shift Snap to these keyframes, and then I'll press Shift page down once to go 10 frames forward, and then I'll snap that one to that time indicator. So now if I preview this, obviously not much is happening because, we don't have any values going in yet. So we want to select this text and set the initial position about here. Okay, so now if I preview this, it slides in, and obviously it doesn't slide out. So all we have to do is just select these, Control C to copy it, Control V to paste, right click, Keyframe Assistant, and Time Reverse Keyframes. So we flip those, and now it animates out. Obviously we have to adjust some things. So I'm gonna go to this keyframe right here and press Shift page down once to go 10 frames forward, and then I'm gonna select all of these, Shift snap them, Shift snap all of them to this time indicator, and then I want this last one to be at the same position as the other keyframe. So now when I preview this, you can see it comes in, and then it comes out. So we're almost done there, almost, but not quite. So as you can see, this text is very dynamic the way it comes in. I really love it. And then it comes out. Now, the obvious mistake here, you can see that our text is floating outside of this white shape. And I want it to be masked out by this white shape. So how do I do that? And the easiest way to do it is by using an effect that I love called set matte. If you watch my tutorials, you know I use it all the time. So I'm going to go to this effects and presets. And as you can see, I already typed it in here. So you can, while you have your text selected, you can either double click on it or just click and drag and drop like that. So here it is in here. And the way it works, basically you're telling your text to grab alpha channel or any kind of channel from whatever layer you want. So in this case, I'm going to tell it to go to that layer right here, second one, which is this one, the white one. And I'm going to tell it to grab alpha channel. So it's set to alpha channel by default. So now when I preview this, you can see that it stays within that white shape. So that's exactly what I want here. So really you can just leave it at this. I mean, this is pretty much finished. Now, the only thing I want to add is that secondary animation. So if you watch here, you can see we have this secondary animation. And there's something about it, it sells it better for me. I think it, kind of grounds your lower third, so it kind of has a base to stand on. And another thing I love about it is that in a way, like when there's other animation, like secondary animation creates an interesting feel that I enjoy. I don't have like a theory behind it. It's just something I think is appealing to my eyes. So what I'm going to do is select this very first shape, this blue one, and do Control D to duplicate it and put it right on top here. Make it a different color. Let's do like yellow. And obviously, I think the one from this example is orange. So I'm going to change the color of it to orange. So I'm going to hide it for a second. Let's use an eyedropper here. Okay, so we do have it set as orange. Here it is. Now, obviously, it's too big for that line, so we need to size it down. On this Y size, I'm going to take it down to 10 pixels. So now it's pretty small. But the other thing is, other one was coming in from the right side. Right now, they're all coming in from the left. So I have to switch it up. So I'm going to go here where it says anchor point. Instead of center left, I'm going to set it to center right, that one. Now, the other problem, now it's coming, it's shifted the whole thing, but it's doing what I want it to do, but it's just way over here. So I'm going to go to this point to where everything is animated, and I'm going to select the shape and do Control Alt Home to center the anchor point. As you can see, it's centered. Now, by the way, if you forget these shortcuts and if you have Smart Rect, you can just click on this question mark button, and I have listed them in here. So you can just read it and it's a good reminder. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, I'm going to shift parent to one of these shape layers. So that's good. You can see that now it's there. In fact, I'm going to unparent this. So now it's working, but it's not in the position that I want it to be. And basically, I'm going to select this, press P, and I'm going to move it downwards. So I know that the size of this, I guess the Y size of my lower third is 110 in pixels. So I want the half of it. So I want downwards. I want to go downwards half the distance, because right now we're at the half the distance of that. So I'm going to say plus 55, and then I put it downwards, but it's still not quite there yet. If I zoom in, you can see that it's at the half of my shape here. So I know this shape is 10 pixels in height. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say plus 5, so half of that shape. And so now it puts it exactly where I want it to be. So if you're like me, I'm a perfectionist. I love it to be at the exact position. And honestly, that's why I like doing math in here. Okay, so honestly, that's pretty much it. As you can see, that's all you need to do. You're finished. The only thing I would advise you to do, I'm going to hide everything, press U. I'm going to create a new null, Control Alt Shift Y. So here's a new null. It's floating over there. And I'm going to snap it to the center of my text. So Shift, Parent, Pick Whip to the text. So it placed exactly where my text is. And then unparent that and select everything else and then parent to that null. I'm going to select this null, press Enter, and I'm going to rename it to, let's do Control. Okay, so now we have this lower third, and it's animating. It's great. And the cool thing about it, now I can position it anywhere I want to. So I can grab this null and move it around anywhere, and it's going to work just fine. So that is all I have for you today. By the way, if you want to download this project file, I will have it in the description of this video. And let me know what you think about a format like this. And also, if you want to join our online community, our mentoring group at Facebook, you can go to ukramedia.com/community. We have so many talented people. I just love it. It's like a family. In fact, we call it Ukramedia family. We have people that are very, at the top doing some great things. And we also have people that are at the very bottom starting out. And the cool thing about it is just we all love each other. We all, there's no such thing as dumb question. There's such grace there. And it's been my home. I walked away from Fox, and I've had some awesome people at Fox Sports that were so influential, gave me a lot of cool advice, and it was an honor being around them, like Chris Watson, Andrew Narine, Michael Dolan, just Craig Chapinski, so many great artists that way up there. And because of being around them, my game was at that level as well. And so you're the average of 5 people that you hang out with. So I would encourage you to be around people that are better than you. So community like that is perfect for that. So if you want to be challenged, if you want to be pushed, if you want to be around people that are moving in the same direction as you, I highly recommend that you join that community. And I love it. I mean, I'm there every day. So thank you guys for watching this. Let me know what you think about this format. But until next time, my name is Sergey Prakhnevsky, and this is ukramedia.com.